Good afternoon นะครับ everyone. How are you today?
Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon ครับทานทอง Okay.
Good afternoon ครับ
Okay, good afternoon ครับมานิด Okay. So nice to hear from you, from some of you, and the response from some of you as well นะครับ All right. Okay. So today we are going to continue talking about the first handout นะครับ the first module for interaction design นะครับ because on the last class we talked about importance of the what to say information นะครับ just won't be long. Let me just like share the screen to you before we continue talking about it. On the last class we talk about different type of the information systems that we got when the time goes by we started from the past when we had the information systems in any kind of organization. In the past, the IT manager classify or group the information system according to the group of system that serve we got office systems, operational systems, decision support system, and executive information systems. While the office systems were the information system that use in the office for example we may have like talking about like Excel. We're talking about like Word or PowerPoint. Those kind of things were used in the office. We call that kind of thing as office system or the document management software. Those are the office system. And in terms of operational systems operational system is not operating systems. Operational system is the systems that are the systems that use in the operational field for example, if it is the information system to manage the stock in a warehouse like inventory management, that is an operational system. If we have information system that plan for production that is operational system as well in terms of production. While the decision support systems are the system that has been using in order to help the management to make a decision on something. For example, if the management would like to know that how much should we invest in the advertising for our product in the COVID-19 period so they need to have like lots of information to support their decision making. For example, they may talk about like number of people who got infected by COVID-19 viruses, which area of the country that has been closed locked down what time that the government allow the restaurants and the shopping center to be open, something like that. This kind of information might be used for decision making so we use this information collaboratively for making a decision. In this kind of thing, it is decision support system. And lastly, executive information system means the system that help the executive for their just like view in the meeting. For example, if they just like if the executive would like to compare among the sales in different region of the country in the meeting room so they may have like the chart that is displaying on the screen, and they can drill down to see the details of the sales, something like that. That is executive information system but when the time goes by to identify a system we identify the system by its function and features rather than by the users. So we have enterprise computing system enterprise computing system is the information system that supports the enterprise wide. For example, when the accounting department would like to keep the data for the accounting and after that sales department would like to use the budget that their boss planned for them. And once they just like approve for some budget, the amount of money from accounting department will be recorded So you can see that this kind of thing is what we call enterprise computing system because it relates to like many departments in the organization นะครับ What transaction processing systems, this kind of information system is the information system that record the transaction, the business transaction that happen every day นะครับ for example นะครับ for example class, I'm just wondering have you been to 1409 room before, everyone, the com science lab before? Can someone just like type the answer in the chat box for me, please? Were you in the oh, that's good, you were in 1409. Did you have to scan a fingerprint before you access? Yeah, I know ครับ not the night that you get better room and new room.
But Ajahn was on the tower. They gonna for 1409. They gonna leave the door like very close, so we don't need to use fingerprint anyway.
Oh, I see, I see. Have you ever scanned a fingerprint before?
Yeah, we all need to register for it. So yeah,
Okay.
if the door completely closed, we still need to use fingerprint.
Okay. That one, once you scan the finger นะครับ it will record that you enter the room, right? Then that one is transaction processing system. Every transaction that you did will be recorded นะครับ that is one example of transaction processing system. Next, I'm sure that if you have used 1409, all of you have used the printer on the 5th floor, right? In front of the computer lab. Okay. So I'm sure that you don't use it for our com science project submission, but it's for like some other subjects like EC or some other Gen Ed subjects that they use printer. Once you have to print on something, they deduct from your quota, right? So every time that you submit the printing job and it deducts from your quota, that is transaction. The system that keep tracks of this is called transaction processing system นะครับ Another example is ATM machine. Okay. Once you withdraw the money from ATM machine นะครับ they just like store the information that you withdraw some money and it deducts from the balance that you've got in your account นะครับ This is what we call transaction processing systems. In terms of 7-Eleven, when you go to buy a stuff, not, I mean, I want to tell you that not one item นะครับ one bill or one receipt that you purchase from 7-Eleven, that is one transaction นะครับ they have to keep track because they want to know that in one receipt how many items that customer purchased, how much does it cost, what kind of items that person or customer usually purchase at what time. Because right now, when you collect the data in terms of transactions, we can use it is for data analytics นะครับ and for data scientists, they use the data from these transactions. Would เราชนะ be a transaction processing system as well? Yes ครับ Yes ครับ เราชนะ is a transaction processing system because when you purchase something, you have to scan and then they record how much you have to pay and then they deduct the amount of money that you have นะครับ Okay, thanks for your question ครับ รัตนนท์ ครับ Next, what about ไทยชนะ ไทยชนะ what is ไทยชนะ What is the difference between เราชนะ and ไทยชนะ Can somebody tell me what's the difference ครับ Check system in mall. That one is also นะครับ Yeah, too many ชนะ apps. I don't know which ชนะ is what ชนะ Okay. Yeah, check in system in malls. That is also the transaction processing system as well because they collect the information as the log, what or who access to that mall at what time and when will you exit from that one นะครับ anything that store the tiny transaction นะครับ or tiny records and keep track of them we call it as transaction processing system ครับ okay all right I think all financial related app will have transaction process in it for sure for all business transactions or business things that we interact with other users or other people they are transaction processing systems but actually there are some other systems that are not related to the money but we can call it as the transaction processing system as well like ATM like your quota in your printing or the log that you that store the accessing for the 1409 นะครับ something like that okay next is business support system they talk about every kind of information system that support the business for example if we are talking about like Microsoft Word Microsoft Excel นะครับ or document management system that kind of thing can be classified as business support systems นะครับ knowledge management system for the knowledge management system normally they are the system that are related to the documents นะครับ that we've got normally if we have like some training materials นะครับ if we have some training materials instead of like let everyone to go to the training program in person you may just like purchase the software that can manage the training course inside it may have like some training documents they may have some quizzes they may have just like certification of like those kind of training นะครับ they might be stored in the knowledge management system apart from that one นะครับ if we are talking about the call center นะครับ the call center of a company นะครับ might use like the knowledge management system inside as well because when the call center officer just pick up a phone and would like to answer the question to the customer นะครับ for example suppose we say that we've got a problem in the internet connection for your new phone that you just recently purchased from AIS นะครับ for example you just buy iPhone 12 Max and when you come back home it seems like it cannot connect to the network นะครับ the 5G network you cannot switch so you can make a phone call to the call center normally you have to know that none of the call center officer use their own knowledge to answer the question นะครับ they have to type in the system that the customer has got the problem in 5G connection and then it will retrieve the data search for the data in the knowledge management system and retrieve the data how can the customer fix this problem they may have step by step okay step one ask the customer that they have the script on the screen นะครับ and then the officer just read out the script and then the customer just like tell them and then they just click on your answer so it navigates to the next step something like that นะครับ or even like manual of some system for example suppose we say that okay we our company sell the car นะครับ if I mean like normally the mechanic of the car นะครับ will have the knowledge management system in their company as well if the car come with one symptom and they don't know how to fix they will refer to their knowledge base นะครับ and see that okay how to fix this car if this problem arise นะครับ something like that and user productivity systems are the actually I think you just like familiar with this term productivity software or productivity apps นะครับ that are the software or the system that help you just like produce some work นะครับ for example your Microsoft Excel นะครับ that is one kind of productivity system Word or PowerPoint, because this kind of thing can produce your work นะครับ and then you can just like submit this work to your boss, to your colleagues, something like that นะครับ so we classify the business information system into these groups. After that, when we talk about the enterprise computing system นะครับ this kind of system support company-wide operations and data management requirements นะครับ one of the outstanding system for the enterprise computing system is called as ERP นะครับ Enterprise Resource Planning, and for the software นะครับ for ERP we call it as ERP software นะครับ that there are so many kind of ERP software in the market นะครับ one of the largest ERP software, the most popular one is SAP นะครับ SAP is the most popular software in the world that people use, that the company use for enterprise resource planning นะครับ that is for the large scale company นะครับ multi-million company. Actually it's good for like very large organization นะครับ let's say if you say that okay your company, even though your company is like 10 billions worth นะครับ company but you have just like 5 people in the company นะครับ so from the revenue of the company you may need to use SAP นะครับ but if you say that okay you are SME นะครับ SAP R3 might not be suitable for your company because the size is too big นะครับ and it's just like let you spend a lot of time to fill up the information to run this system นะครับ okay. Many hardware software vendors target the enterprise computing market because large scale company have to use this software นะครับ or have to use this system. So that's why when there are new hardware coming out, for example, if we have like the cloud server, many cloud server just like produce to support this kind of enterprise resource planning system นะครับ okay, right. The next one, sorry, this one นะครับ when we have the sales transaction นะครับ you can see that we have like so many party or so many tasks that are related นะครับ for example, when the sales transaction is happening นะครับ we need to check the credit status of the customer before we sell the product to them, post to account receivable นะครับ in Thai we call it as บัญชีลูกหนี้นะครับ or the debtor นะครับ we have to post this transaction to it because some of the customer they pay us in credit. That means if they purchase a product from us 1 million baht and we say that okay, you don't have to pay by cash, you can pay for 60 days credit terms. So that means during that 60 days before they pay us the money, they are our account receivable. Then we have to post that sales transaction into account receivable นะครับ also we have to check the stock status นะครับ in stock status as well, whether we have the stock of the product or not before we can create the sales transaction. Also when we sell the product to the customer already, we have to adjust the inventory data นะครับ that we have fewer stocks because we have to reserve some part of the stock for that sales transaction นะครับ and the update sales activity file นะครับ we have to update it as well so that when the management นะครับ would like to see the sales activity, they will see from the sales activity file. So these are activities that happened when one sales transaction happened นะครับ when we talk about like one bigger kind of transaction than just a small one like a fingerprint that they keep the log of like you when you coming into the room นะครับ okay, right. And when we have this thing already นะครับ for the business support system, the business support system will provide the job related information to users นะครับ in every level นะครับ for the business support system there are like management information system or MIS. this is the system that can generate the reports for the management in various form นะครับ normally when we have the transaction processing system already we record all the transaction right but when we would like to summarize นะครับ those transaction to the management for sure the management would do not want to see like the transaction in detail so every transaction นะครับ we have to summarize them and the system which can summarize the information for the management we call it as management information systems and then we may have like RFID นะครับ as a business support system we just like use the this kind of tag in order to just like identify the products that we have we use the RFID to also identify lots of things including the employees of the company as well นะครับ and what if analysis นะครับ this one is used for the business support system normally we may just like use this kind of thing from the part of Excel as well for the business support system after that นะครับ we also have the knowledge management system knowledge management system or expert system here it simulates human reasoning by combining knowledge base and influence and inference rules นะครับ many knowledge management system use technique called fuzzy logic so if you remember I told you that when you have a problem in setting up your network for your iPhone 12 Max นะครับ the call center officer will have to use like this kind of expert system to see นะครับ how to solve the problem for you นะครับ sometimes นะครับ some another example for expert system is like when you use the credit card to buy something นะครับ when you use credit card to buy something for example today นะครับ suppose you say that okay you hold a credit card and the credit limit on your credit card worth around like 500,000 baht okay what will happen this morning you fill up the petrol นะครับ in a gas station for 1,000 baht that is normal right once you use the card that's okay no problem in the afternoon there is another transaction purchasing a Rolex watch นะครับ purchasing a Rolex watch in Rodeo Drive LA worth 400,000 baht this transaction is suspicious how come this morning you are in Bangkok you fill up the petrol how can the afternoon you use the same card to buy a Rolex in LA it's impossible you cannot fly to LA within a couple of hours from Bangkok so the expert system will detect this suspicious transaction and block that transaction straight away so the morning transaction or afternoon transaction one of these transactions must be fraud so what does it mean as I told you it's impossible for you to fly within 3 hours but in the afternoon if you purchase a Rolex watch but on yesterday you went to have a dinner in a restaurant in LA too that means the morning transaction today is fraud because it's impossible that yesterday you fly from LA sorry it might be possible if you fly from LA to Thailand this morning okay but it's impossible to fly back to LA in the afternoon again then it will be blocked first นะครับ then the human officer will have to just like find the fact what's going on so how can they do after the transaction is blocked automatically the officer will call you and ask what's going on นะครับ if you say that hey I lost my card or if you say that I still have my card but I don't know what happened maybe my card is stolen the information from my card is stolen when I went to the restaurant last night and the information was sent to the hackers in LA so they tried to use my card this morning this afternoon and what happened is they will check as well that if your card is stolen in Thailand who in LA use that card. If it is like the big watch store in LA, they shouldn't accept the one who don't have the card. Then they may ask that shop to check on the surveillance camera who purchased that watch, something like that. So and the police can come to arrest that person straight away. So this is one example of the usage of the expert system. All right. Apart from that one, the user productivity system is the technology that improves productivity. Like the software like Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Google Drive, Google Doc. And also it might be a groupware. A groupware is a software that help us to work in group. For example, good example that you see at this moment of time is Google Calendar. Sometimes you can see that the Google Calendar you share among different people in your team. For example, for me, I have my personal calendar on Google, and also I have the ComScience Google Calendar as well. That means I can see when will be the meeting day, what time, which room. And also I can have like the schedule of other faculty members as well. For example, if I want to talk to Ajan Gritaya in person, and then I know that, okay, today she has class until 12 o'clock. So I know that, okay, this is her schedule. I check from the Google Calendar that we share among faculty members. This is groupware. And also apart from that one, groupware might be like the information systems that you send the request from one person to another person, and you need the approver. For example, if I want to take leave on tomorrow, take a vacation to let's say to Hong Kong tomorrow, and Friday. But my boss, I say that, okay, my boss is the chairman of science division. He knows that, okay, this is not the time to go for vacation, especially to go to other countries. He may disapprove my request. So it will be the response back to me that the request to take leave is rejected, something like that. This is a groupware. But if my boss is not or does not check this request, for example, I want to take leave for one day. For example, I have to go to Phuket to just like do my business, my personal business in Phuket. So let's say I want to go there on Monday, but unfortunately my boss, he take leave from today to next Tuesday. So it means that there is no one to approve my request. How can I go to Phuket on Monday without permission? So what is the groupware, and how does this groupware work? Groupware has the features normally to scale up the request. For example, if they say that, okay, normally the take the request leave, the leave of request must be submitted 2 days in prior to take leave. But if 1 day pass, no one approve or reject my request, what will happen? It will scale up. The boss of my boss will receive this request instead, or my boss may assign someone else to approve this. So the request will go to another person immediately, so that he or she will have to approve or reject on my request. This is the example of the groupware, how it works. And the next one, information system integration. Most of the large organizations, they require the system that combine transaction processing, business support, knowledge management, and user productivity features together. Right now, many of the information system we can integrate this kind of small system together. For example, if you remember about groupware that I just recently talking about, when I take leave and somebody approve or reject นะครับ before they approve okay let's talk about the regular approve my boss has to check whether I have like the day off left or not. If I'm running out number of days that I can take leave, he will reject my request. How can he know? How can he know? He has to normally he may have to just like make a phone call to the HR department and ask. But actually, if you have the integration of the information systems, I can write down an API in order to link the HR system นะครับ to this approval system. When I request a leave นะครับ it just like pop up or show up the data from the HR that okay how many days do I have left and can suggest my boss to approve or to disapprove this one นะครับ so when we have this one นะครับ normally how can the large company use normally if they use some system like enterprise resource planning they integrate lots of things together this kind of system นะครับ can be stored in the um, can be stored in the that one in the system and then it can be interchanged for the data okay right okay so after that when we talk about the information and information system what information do users need นะครับ you can see that okay in here we talk about in the past it is in pyramid shape but right now it's in cone shape we talk about the level of the management นะครับ the top manager นะครับ okay top manager and then we have middle manager supervisors and team leaders and the last level is operational employees you can see that in the cross section นะครับ in each pie นะครับ each level นะครับ of the organization needs to have this kind of data need to know about accounting human resource นะครับ marketing production IT and sales นะครับ a bit of them นะครับ as the business function in their level that they have to know these are information that users need นะครับ after that we talk about the tools นะครับ when we talk about the system development นะครับ system here as I told you on the last class system means information system นะครับ in order to do or in order to develop the information system นะครับ let's begin with the first one when we have to do the modeling นะครับ or to model the business or to model the system the modeling tool here we need to have the modeling tool for business model for creating or for developing requirement model, data model, object model, network model, and process model. Some of the software นะครับ they support all of these modeling for example VCO นะครับ or from Microsoft but somebody said that okay they don't like they may use like some other software in order to do the modeling separately นะครับ depends on the style of each system analysts นะครับ up to them some of the company they have their own tools นะครับ or they purchase the tool already when you have to work for them you may just like use their tools นะครับ but I mean for com science people we just like spend just at most one day then we understand how to use that tools นะครับ for this kind of modeling นะครับ but the most important thing is that you have to understand the concept first นะครับ when you have to do the modeling นะครับ or when you have to create the model or construct the model what will be inside even though you don't have the system even though you don't have the modeling tool you can use a piece of paper and pencil to draw it anyway นะครับ right okay so the next one นะครับ the next tool that we use for system development is prototyping tool นะครับ prototyping tool in this class นะครับ you have to use prototyping tool to show your design as well prototyping tool นะครับ is a tool that help you to prepare a prototype. It speeds up development process significantly because if you have the prototype, other people in the team, including developers, including users, will understand what this system is trying to propose นะครับ and the important decision might be made too early before business IT or IT issues are thoroughly understood นะครับ so when you have prototype everyone understand or immediately that what do you want นะครับ and also it can be extremely valuable tools นะครับ so that means sometimes you the team นะครับ doesn't know what programming language that they will use in order to develop the system. You may use the prototyping tool to show the prototype first, and then the development team may have like some time to discuss นะครับ what programming language that you plan to use, whether you would like to use Python or Java นะครับ or R. It depends on the team นะครับ but the prototyping tools นะครับ is used to prepare prototype and show to the user first นะครับ and also the team can be clarified that okay if we would like to have the system like this maybe Java is better something like that in order to develop the whole system นะครับ the next one case 2 Case 2 stand for computer aided system engineering tools this kind of tool นะครับ or sometimes we call it as computer aided software engineering นะครับ for the case 2 it's a diagramming tool plus program code generator นะครับ so that means if you just like prepare the diagrams นะครับ or the model on that case 2 already you can generate software code you can generate the database table and so on นะครับ which speeds the implementation process so this is the example นะครับ